Good morning and welcome. My name is Megan and this is The Inner Fix. Today, what you're about to experience is a simulation, a real, raw, and honest look into what a Narcotics Anonymous meeting can feel like, whether it's virtual or in person. The purpose of this simulation is simple: to bring awareness, to remove stigma, and to open the door to understanding. At The Inner Fix, our mission is to have real conversations about mental health, recovery, and addiction. We talk about how addiction affects the brain, how it impacts decision-making, emotions, relationships, and most importantly, what it looks like to live day to day on life's terms while in recovery. Because recovery isn't just about stopping, it's about rebuilding. It's about learning, and it's about finding a new way to live. In this simulation, you'll hear voices, stories, and experiences that reflect the reality many people face every single day. No judgment, no filters, just truth. Whether you're here to learn, to relate, or to support someone you care about, you are welcome here. This is The Inner Fix. Let's begin.
My name is Tommy, and I am an addict. I'd like to welcome you to the Inner Fix online virtual meeting. Let's open the meeting with a moment of silence, followed by the Serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. We will now have some readings from our NA literature. Can someone read Who is an Addict?
Good evening, my name is Kim, and I am an addict. Who is an addict? Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another, the getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. We live to use and use to live. Very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in the grip of a continuing and progressive illness whose ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death.
Thank you, Kim. Can someone read What is the Narcotics Anonymous program?
Bill, Addict, what is the Narcotics Anonymous program? NA is a nonprofit fellowship or society of men and women for whom drugs had become a major problem. We are recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. This is a program of complete abstinence from all drugs. There is only one requirement for membership: the desire to stop using. We suggest that you keep an open mind and give yourself a break. Our program is a set of principles written so simply that we can follow them in our daily lives. The most important thing about them is that they work. There are no strings attached to NA. We are not affiliated with any other organizations. We have no initiation fees or dues, no pledges to sign, no promises to make to anyone. We are not connected with any political, religious, or law enforcement groups and are under no surveillance at any time. Anyone may join us, regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. We are not interested in what or how much you used or who your connections were, what you have done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean.
Thanks, Bill. Can we have someone read Why Are We Here?
Beth. Addict, why are we here? Before coming to the Fellowship of NA, we could not manage our own lives. We could not live and enjoy life as other people do. We had to have something different, and we thought we had found it in drugs. We placed their use ahead of the welfare of our families, our wives, husbands, and our children. We had to have drugs at all costs. We did many people great harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves. through our inability to accept personal responsibilities, we were actually creating our own problems. We seemed to be incapable of facing life on its own terms. Most of us realized that in our addiction, we were slowly committing suicide, but addiction is such a cunning enemy of life that we had lost the power to do anything about it. Many of us ended up in jail or sought help through medicine, religion, and psychiatry. None of these methods was sufficient for us. Our disease always resurfaced or continued to progress until, in desperation, we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. After coming to NA, we realized we were sick people. We suffered from a disease from which there is no known cure. It can, however, be arrested at some point, and recovery is then possible.
Thanks, Beth. How about how it works?
Johnny here, Addict, how it works. If you want what we have to offer and are willing to make the effort to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. 1. We admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. We admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. We humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. We made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. We made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. We continued to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. This sounds like a big order, and we can't do it all at once. We didn't become addicted in one day, so remember, easy does it. There is one thing more than anything else that will defeat us in our recovery. This is an attitude of indifference or intolerance towards spiritual principles. 3 of these that are indispensable are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. With these, we are well on our way. We feel that our approach to the disease of addiction is completely realistic. For the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. We feel that our way is practical, for one addict can best understand and help another addict. We believe that the sooner we face our problems within our society in everyday living, just that much faster do we become acceptable, responsible, and productive members of that society. The only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. If you are like us, you know that 1 is too many and 1,000 never enough. We put great emphasis on this, for we know that when we use drugs in any form or substitute one for another, we release our addiction all over again. Thinking of alcohol as different from other drugs has caused a great many addicts to relapse. Before we came to NA, many of us viewed alcohol separately, but we cannot afford to be confused about this. Alcohol is a drug. We are people with the disease of addiction who must abstain from all drugs in order to recover.
Thanks, Johnny. Last, can someone read We Do Recover?
Jada, Addict. We do recover. When at the end of the road we find that we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs, we all face the same dilemma. What is there left to do? There seems to be this alternative. Either go on as best we can to the bitter ends, jails, institutions, or death, or find a new way to live. In years gone by, very few addicts ever had this last choice. Those who are addicted today are more fortunate. For the first time in man's entire history, a simple way has been proving itself in the lives of many addicts. It is available to us all. This is a simple spiritual, not religious program, known as Narcotics Anonymous.
Thank you, Jada, and thanks to all the readers. Narcotics Anonymous has 9 suggestions we all need to hear, and we have asked Declan to read them.
Declan, Addict. Here are the 9 suggestions. 1. Avoid people, places, and things you used with or at. 2. Come early and stay late. 3. Get and use a sponsor. 4. Don't use and go to meetings. 5. Go to 90 meetings in 90 days. 6. Get a home group. 7. Use the phone. 8. Keep coming back. It works. 9. Get involved in service.
Thank you, Declan. Tonight's meeting's theme is on perseverance, and we have asked Lamont from Bronx, New York, to speak and share his message of strength and hope. We ask that you would give Lamont the same amount of respect you would want if you were asked to speak. So at this time, I would like to introduce tonight's speaker, Lamont from the Bronx.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lamont, and I'm a grateful recovering addict. And I would say I'm nervous, but I'd be lying. And I guess I'm lying now because I ain't that confident. But they gave me this list to choose something from, and everything on here screamed at me, you know? So I'm going with perseverance, okay? You know, because it all applies. It's all intertwined. I guess I'll start off qualifying that when I first got here in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, I was just one of those guys when I heard somebody say, it took me a long time to get here, you know? And that was my attitude at the time. You know, that was 37 years and 5 months ago, right? You know, and then somebody pointed out, you get here when you're supposed to, and perseverance is real important, you know? But my thing wasn't just getting clean, you know? I didn't know how to stay clean. I was one of those guys that fronting was a major part of my story. When I ran out of my shit and I was broke, I would say things like, I ain't doing that no more until the next time. That's right, you know. And then I had to hear from guys like y'all, you know. It's about staying stopped because I was hard-headed. I suffered out there. I mean, suffered. And when I got here in these rooms, I was like 38 years old, you know, and I thought about all the time I might have wasted then, especially when I run into guys that are younger, like Tommy, you know, who might be 15, 20 years younger than me, talking about they ran for 6 months. I was like, what? You know? But I started using at a very young age, and this is what a brother said to me. We thought we'd go to our grave just smoking weed. And then they fooled us, right? With the weed, because, you know, it's from nature and all that intellectual people shit, right? It's from the earth, Mother Earth, and shit like that, right? And you get spiritual and, you know, all that bullshit. And same thing, kind of similar happened with cocaine. You know, I lost a brother to heroin. And second of all, addiction. On January 1st, 1971, that's how long ago that was. Now, he was an addict. He was just a year and 1 day older than me. At that time, I was in my second year of college, and I was on the dean's list. I thought he was a disgrace to the family, you know, and all of that, because I'd come home. I was home for Christmas, and he OD'd at a friend's house. They dragged him across the roof and propped him up against my mother's door. And my mother and father were coming in from a New Year's Eve party, and they started cursing him out about the dirty clothes he had on, because back then, like I said, frontin' was a major part of the story. Back then, Dope Fiends was clean. You know, he was dressed. He left the house dressed, boots laced up, trench coat, wool. I mean, he looked good. That's how he left home, but that's not how he came back. But, again, in my head, he was the embarrassment. In the meantime, I'm in my second year of college, selling $2 bags of dope from Harlem for $10, upstate New York, and it was some of the best shit in Harlem at the time. And, I was using everything else too, man. You know, we talk about people going too far. There were rumors about me. Yeah, he's in college, but messing with that LSD, you know, that stuff that messes with your mind. And I didn't know nothing about taking a tip from a fool. They was right. But I'm like, who are they to tell me? You know? And every time I took a trip, then dipped. It was like, I ain't doing that no more. No more. Yeah, right. And then I did it again, because it gets real deep. You're never the same for real. But anyway, I thought I was a drug dealer. I said, if college don't work out, I know how to hustle, because drugs sell themselves. It don't even got to be the best. You just got to be the only one who got it. I learned that quick. And I struggled and kept up a front. College education, little job. And I thought I could supplement my income, hustling. And I bought into that lie. That cocaine wasn't habit forming. 30 years later, I'm a crackhead. But it ain't habit forming. Right. That's what they told us. At the end, I was a bum with a civil service job, working for the state, Department of Labor Unemployment Office. My job was telling people why they couldn't get unemployment, while I couldn't even make it back after lunch because the crack house was 4 blocks away. I'd go at lunch, and that was it. I had a supervisor. She looked out for me. She was crying while writing me up. I was the guy who couldn't make it the day after payday. Then I couldn't make it back after lunch. That's where it took me. And I didn't believe that I had dropped so low. Willpower alone couldn't stop me. I thought I had willpower because I said, I ain't sticking no needles in my arm. So I thought I was different, better than them other folks. But I wasn't. Something had to give, so I thought about these rooms, Narcotics Anonymous. At the end, I said, let me take a chance. I didn't think the program worked, though, but I wanted to save my job. Figured, at least I could say I tried, but they flipped the script on me. They sent my black ass to rehab. Nice place, too. Shit. I thought it was a vacation. They told me. This ain't no country club. This is a hospital. You're sick. I didn't want to hear that. They told me, leave your education at the door. I said, how dare you? But they were right. I started seeing guys like me, clean, dressed right, and they said, you only got to do this one time. That hit me, because I had never stopped before. And since then, I've been persevering. Life on life's terms is something, but it ain't nothing like what I was living before. The joy is in the journey. It's about sticking and staying, not just getting clean, staying clean. My life got greater. Promotions, retirement, better husband, better father. Now I got 2 grandsons that refuse to go home. And I love it. My father told me, you can always come home. And one day, I did. My mother saw my arm, skinny. I tried to play it off, but that crack, it did me in. I was a dead man walking. Even with the suit and tie, I needed a mask. But the program works. And they told me from day one, start at step 1. I didn't want to, but I followed the process, got a sponsor, stayed, and it gets easier. Not just better, greater later. Would I go back? Go back to what? I remember where I came from. This disease don't care about my clean time. It'll take me right back, looking for cigarette butts, trying to mix something together, just to get through the day. Today, life is good. I'm not bragging. I'm grateful. My name is Lamont. I'm a grateful, recovering addict. If you're here, persevere, stick, and stay. Thank you for letting me share.
Let's thank Lamont one more time for his powerful message on perseverance. If you want to share your experience, please share or leave your comments below. With that being said, can someone please read Just for Today?
Melani, Addict, just for today. Tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for today, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear.
And we have a nice way of closing. Can we have a moment of silence for the still sick and suffering in and out of these walls, followed by the Serenity prayer? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We hope you have enjoyed this Inner Fix virtual NA meeting. Please like, follow, and share the Inner Fix for Real talk about mental health, addiction, and recovery. We can all persevere, and we do recover. God bless.